Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Wrestle Watch podcast, your home for free agency talk in the world of professional wrestling. I am Ryan.
And I am Doug. It's been a while.
It's been a hot minute, as the kids say. And by kids, I mean people born in like 1930 probably would have said that.
I think we needed a little reset, though. To be honest, I think it's good. I know you were busy.
Yes,
I took some time to do some other things that I needed to take care of. I felt very productive in that regard, so I think it all worked out. And we're here to wrap up 2025.
Yes, we are. Yes. So how about to start with this episode today, when we're doing these predictions for 2026, what if we start by looking backward at what we predicted last year as the predictions for this year? That was a very convoluted way to say we're going to look back at this time last year. We did an episode where we predicted things to happen in 2025. And spoiler alert, Doug is smart and I'm not.
Or I'm lucky.
Or lucky. It could be one or the other. But once we finish going through those predictions from last year, looking at this year, we will this year look at next year and try to make some predictions for 2026. Okay, Doug, do you remember off the top of your head, before I shot you over the message saying, hey, here's what we did from last year, do you remember any of these predictions at all?
No. I didn't. Okay. I didn't remember any of them. Absolutely not.
Okay, so
I'll be honest. You kind of like alluded to some of them earlier. I don't even remember. So we're going to go over this again, and I'm going to because I'm fresh.
Okay, how about we start with yours then to keep it fresh in your mind. Okay. The first one that you had is, quote, Dave Meltzer will give a North American women's match a 5-star rating. Wait a second. Here's where it becomes a spicy prediction. And it won't deserve it. Do you remember what you were thinking when you came up with that prediction?
I just felt that we were getting a lot of women's matches in 2024 that were kind of going towards Dave's sensibilities, in the sense that there was a lot of plunder, a lot more ladder matches. Like, Dave loves his ladder matches.
He loves furniture.
The man should be buried at a Home Depot. He would have it's just in honor of him. And it just felt to me that at some point there was going to be a match that was going to go 5 stars on, and it was going to be one of these plunder matches. Yeah. Because every single time Dave goes 5, because he'll do it, he'll go 5 on like some ridiculous ladder match. And in my mind, I felt like it didn't deserve it. And frankly, a lot of times those matches are a little bit on the lower end of cage match, but Dave gave him a 5. So I thought that was likely going to happen just because that seemed to be the general area. And then this year, there were 2 matches, I believe. 2 matches in North America that received a 5-star rating, women's matches.
Yes.
One of them was a very, very much a plunder fest.
Yes, that you're referencing the Hollywood ending, the third of the trilogy between Mariah May and Toni Storm from AEW Revolution.
Yes, and that was fun. I do not think that was a 5-star match.
Okay, do you recall if you were to Dave-erize a rating for it, what would you give it then?
I thought it was a solid 4.25, because it was fun. They worked hard. It was entertaining, but it's like it was a lot of smoke and mirrors. And I don't give 5 stars to smoke and mirrors. Yes.
Now, the other match, do you recall what the other match was off the top of your head? I can reveal it. I remember very well.
I believe it was that 3-way women's match at, I think it was WrestleMania.
Yeah, WrestleMania Night 2. It was Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Bianca Belair in a 3-way match. That was the same month that the three-way match between Kenny Omega, Ricochet, and Speedball happened. And something that I really liked about both these matches was that neither of them tried to do the when it's a three-way, it means it's no DQ thing. It was like constant action, actual like three people just wrestling each other.
Can I'm gonna look up. I'm curious now. I want to know what that match got on Cage Match.
Okay. In the meantime, I will mention to you that, and we'll get back to what you think about that match getting a 5-star rating from Dave once you find this information for yourself. The interesting thing to me also is that those were not the only women's 5-star matches of the year. Dave gave a few from Japan 5 stars. There was a Cosmic Angels versus Neo Genesis match from Stardom Supreme Fight in February that received 5 stars. Both of the Saya Kamitani versus Tam Nakano singles bouts from the year got 5 stars, with the retirement match getting 5.25. And of course, our girls Suri and Shuri, their second match of the year from Stardom The Conversion, got a 5.25. So those two matches, the retirement match and the Sari Shuri 2, both received, for Dave's money, they were the 9th best matches of the year, tied for 9th best. Do you find that those two were up in that stratosphere?
They were up. They were definitely up there. I had them in my top list. I had Let me pull up my top 10. Actually, I can do that right now. But first of all, if you're curious, it was a 9.28 right now on Cage Match. So
Yeah.
that match was pretty high. I I think if you wanted to go 5 on that, I'm not gonna fight you, but I definitely when I watched it, I didn't necessarily feel 5. That's just me personally.
I think if I was somebody, so I right now, to peel back the curtain a little bit of what I'm doing right now with my time in the holidays is every year this is the time when I go back and watch all of the WWE PLEs that I didn't watch for the year, because it's a great way to watch them, which is being able to skip through all the ads, and it goes to like a breezy hour 90 minutes per PLE. So it's very quick, very easy to get through all of them. I have to say that, like, if I was somebody that only watched WWE and didn't watch any other promotion in the world, I would easily be looking at that 3-way as being the best match of the year. I would say that the Gunther versus CM Punk match from SummerSlam might be up there too, but like I can understand why somebody would look at that match and be like, "Wow, this is like the best match of the year." I gave it a high rating too personally. Like I find it to be one of the better matches of the year overall as well. So I don't knock it. And no, Dave did not give Io versus Rio a 5 from Evolution. No, because that was interrupted by a cash-in that should not have happened. So yeah, I think that you could say, and I don't want to put words in your mouth on this one, I think that on the whole, we could say that at least one of these matches might have deserved the 5 from the North American ones.
Sure. And I think people will make arguments for both of them, honestly.
Yeah.
I did not think either one deserved 5. Now, going back to those other matches that had a 5. So
The Japanese ones, yeah.
Yes, Tam Saya, that was one of them, yes.
Both the first match of the series when they Saya won the title, and then the second one, which was the retirement match, got 5s. The retirement match got a 5.25.
Okay, the one from April was the retirement one, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one I have that as my number 3 match of the year currently. Yeah. Suri versus Shuri from the Suriism show in March. That was my number 4 match of the year.
That one I preferred to the one from Stardom The Conversion. The conversion match was the one that they did as the follow-up. The first one that you're talking about was the draw match from Suriism. I preferred that match, but this is the one that was for the IWGP belt in Stardom. That's the one that he gave the 5.25 for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think that. I liked the other one more.
Yeah, but I think on the whole, I get it why he would give it at least a 5.
But Saya Kamitani's had a lot of really fun. Like I loved a lot of the stuff she did. She did her match with Suzu Suzuki in February. That one that really stood out to me. I'm really looking forward to watching the show from last night because I haven't gotten around to that yet.
Yeah, I haven't either. I really want to watch her both both the women that we were just talking about, Saya's match and Sari's match from last night. I think both of those have gotten pretty good reviews so
Yeah.
far.
Sorry versus
Uh,
Natsupoi. Listen, Natsupoi is like quietly one of the most solid workers
I think
in the world.
I think that pairing her up against Sari is going to, like, the point of it was to make people realize, oh wait, yeah, no, she can go.
Yes.
It's
And Sari Ano has always been one of my favorite,
oh yeah, yeah.
stoic cosmic angel evil person. She just never smiles. I love that about her. So she's always great too.
Yeah, I think that I forgot what I was about to say, but I thought something. Um yeah, I think that oh yeah, what I was going to say was that I think Saya versus Azumi is a top 10 match for me here.
Okay. Yeah.
Um but yeah, so I think overall for your prediction that Dave will give a North American women's match a 5-star and won't deserve it. I think in your opinion that was the case, but I think in the general wrestling consciousness that I think that the matches that got the 5s are fairly worthy matches.
Yeah, there were good matches. It wasn't. I don't think it was anything. Okay, there was. Okay, I'll say this. Dave has given some pretty lackluster New Japan G1 matches a 5-star
Yeah.
in the past. Like there were some times where I didn't even go 4. Like it would be like some Hiroki Goto match from like 2019's G1 between him and Evil, and he would go 5 on it for some reason.
Yeah.
And it's nothing like that. So I will say
That's
that both of
that's
these matches were fine.
that's my hot take is that I think that he does that too much with CMLL.
He might, yeah.
But your second prediction for from last year was the AEW Fox deal. You remember that? Does not happen.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So I took a stab with that one, I guess. I don't remember how sure we were that was how far along that was. Did we kind of know that thing was kind of falling apart at that time when I made that prediction?
I don't remember if we knew at that point. No.
Or I had at least a hunch of it, but yeah, that didn't happen. So and frankly, I'm happy because I think that we are still in this area of just produce more content so you can get more money. We see that with SmackDown going to 3 hours. We see that with, potentially, as we saw, AEW is doing more and more, is now basically monthly pay-per-views for the most part. And I just wish that we didn't have that, but I knew it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I think it was pretty clear that was, AEW didn't have a fantastic 2024. And I thought that it was probably for the best that didn't happen. And I'm glad it didn't.
The next one that you had was AEW starts filling the international TV void that WWE is creating with the Netflix deal. I think this one did not happen.
Yeah. And maybe it's still going to, but I definitely thought that we would see more of that. I suppose you could argue that TNA and WWE helping TNA, large part of that was to kind of make sure that didn't happen because, TNA is getting thrown into these spots and being offered in these spots, for less money than AEW would get.
Yeah, TNA has a contract now in Canada with Sportsnet, I believe it is, and then in the US is coming up with AMC.
Yeah, and I think that's obvious. I mean, we talked about that before. That's obviously, the point of propping up TNA is not just so they could, point to and say, oh, here's the new number 2, which that is part of it, but it's also just to flood kind of that second tier market, to make sure that there's more options and that can drive down the price that AEW can demand, which would obviously hurt them. Now,
go
potentially
ahead.
it could hurt WWE as well, but I think WWE sees themselves on another level, whereas they kind of view TNA and AEW kind of fighting for the same market.
Yeah, I would also point out, though, that while AEW did not receive any new international deals, their viewership in Canada and in the UK exploded this year. Actually,
Yeah.
they were up like I think they said 50% in the UK for viewership, and mind you, of course, that's not live. The ITV deal that they have does not have them airing live in the UK. It's on a delay. I've watched it on the delay in the UK. It is the middle of the night. Like it is not a good time to be watching it. It's like a day or two delayed, and it just like you're like, okay, I could probably just if I'm really into AEW, I'll find a way to watch this live. That's like the way that you feel about it when you're in that moment. And that's what I did for the last month when I was in Europe. I didn't try to watch it any way other than live. So the fact that they're up something like 50% year to year in the UK says a lot.
Yeah. No, it's impressive. But it is question. I will say this. Maybe I'll hold my thought because I know there's another prediction we're going to talk about that maybe kind of ties to that.
Yeah. The other prediction is we won't know how many people watch Raw, Dynamite, or Collision because Netflix and WBD will not accurately report streaming viewership numbers. This has been a year-long thing going for the folks at WrestleNomics and the Wrestling Observer newsletter, trying to calculate out what the viewership for Raw is. And now that Raw has fallen out of the top 10 for Tadum, which is Netflix's what they say the ratings are for the viewership is for all their shows. That means that we don't know whenever Raw falls out of the top 10 what Raw's viewership is at all.
Yeah. And I think that one absolutely happened. And I can think that we can kind of tie that in with the UK stuff too. Cause yeah, every now and then we'll get like, Tony Khan or someone tweeting that like, oh, their viewership is up and it's increased by this much. And all it is really just getting these breadcrumbs of information. You know, long gone are the Showbuzz Daily
Yes.
times where we could just, at 3 p.m. The day after the next day, we would get, this giant chart color coded, and it was great and accurate, and we just don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
And now we're just trying to kind of piece it together here and there, and we're probably never going to get like accurate info because these streamers don't really have a vested benefit in sharing what they're actually doing because they're probably doing, you know, it's probably a lot lower than we think, like realistically. And I know a lot of people say, well, they would share that if it was good. And I don't know if I necessarily believe that either, though, because it's still their info
Yeah.
that they're spending money to get. I mean, why would they give that away for free? There's no reason to do that.
I mean, it took a lot for the NFL even to kick open the door about it.
Yeah.
It only was this year that the NFL's gotten like definite, like, yeah, we're gonna get the real numbers for NFL games, and they're gonna be, produced to the general public and everything. So and that's the NFL, and they're pretty much like the biggest name in media rights in the U.S. or in possibly the world. So, um, so I'd say when we look at all of your predictions for the year, well, I would say you did a pretty good job. I would give
B
you
minus, maybe a B minus.
I give you a B minus. You definitely passed
All
with
right.
your predictions. I think that your third one about the international TV void, you got the spirit of it a little bit, and you saw what I mean. It wasn't AEW as much as TNA, but yeah,
Yeah.
I think that you got some spirit points for that one. You got total accuracy for your Fox deal and your viewing numbers and your 5-star match. I think that people would disagree with you on your assessment of how you did, but yeah.
Yes.
Now my predictions were crazier,
Okay.
I believe, and I think it goes in order of craziness. So my first one was no quote friends of CM Punk will jump from AEW to WWE. That was my one that I thought would not happen, and it did. Ricky Saints, the Stroke Daddy himself, went to NXT, and he's the NXT champion even. So
Listen, he's also a friend of Cody.
he's a friend of Cody too, so that's a fair point. That's a fair point,
Yep.
yeah. But like if we're looking at friends of Punk kind of people, that were still in AEW at this time last year, looking at him, Danhausen, FTR. I mean, I think that I think I'm not going to take the point on that one.
That's fair. Yeah, I think that's accurate. And Danhausen, we're still hearing news
Um,
on him. That's a
yeah.
long saga in and of itself.
So this is one that I want to talk about briefly for a minute, is because the interesting thing about this, from the reporting that we've seen from, I believe it's from Wrestling Observer and from Fightful, both have been reporting on this, is that essentially there is like this Cold War happening with talent signing in WWE. And somehow, the ground zero of it, the battle line, is Danhausen. So, who who do you think in the Cold War? I mean, the Cold War is between The Rock and Triple H, right? Who do you think likes Danhausen of the two of them?
I think it's The Rock.
It's The Rock, yeah. The Rock is a fan of Danhausen, and he wants them to sign Danhausen. Of course, you know, Punk is also a fan of him, and I think that Punk's a politicker too. But Triple H, not a fan of Danhausen, doesn't want him. And so now there's these notes that are getting passed through, specifically Fightful and Wrestle Votes, that are saying, "Oh yeah, there's people in the company that aren't sure about Danhausen," and then you get like an update a day later that's like, "Well, there are people that like Danhausen," and like the one thing that was nagging in my head was something from August that was from Wrestling Observer that said, "The Rock likes Danhausen," from Wrestling Observer newsletter, and that is what's happening. It's that The Rock likes him, so therefore now there's a debate of whether we sign him or not.
And here's the thing. Do you think Triple H likes Mr. Iguana
Um, Not really. Probably not.
or Joe Hendry?
Probably not. I think that Shawn Michaels would like those kinds of people.
Yeah, and I think
I think The
I
Rock
think
would
that
like them.
yeah, I think that that's obviously different perspectives. Although let's be honest, at this point, based off of the report that dropped today, we don't know how much influence Triple H really does have. So
Yeah, yeah, the unindicted co-booker of Triple
yeah,
H. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So, but I think that's been a ongoing thing. And are you suggesting that's going to be a continued ongoing schism for the 2026?
I think it will be. It's not going to be one of my bold predictions for the year, but I think that that is the case. That we're seeing a Cold War going on with the talent usage in WWE. We have TC in the chat saying, "I don't know if Triple H likes Jey Uso." To be honest, I think that Jey Uso is one of those guys. I think LA Knight's one of those guys. That when you look at the way that they're booked versus how the crowds react to them, um, it seems obvious that Triple H doesn't really want them to be positioned where they are. But the crowd wants them positioned higher than Triple H wants them to be positioned. And they're the kinds of guys that, well, you look at a Danhausen and a Joe Hendry and those kinds of people too. There's a commonality going on here. They're people that are over that Triple H doesn't want to be over.
Who
Even if
does
you
Triple H want to be over though?
he wants the guys that he wrestled to be over.
Does he want Braun Breaker to be over?
I don't know if he does. I mean, like, if he wanted Braun Breaker to be over, he would be champion by now. Like,
I don't know. They seem to be going slow with things. I think he's still a Braun Breaker guy,
yeah,
but we'll see. So okay, so that's that one.
yeah. My next one here, is I think actually milder, but it didn't happen. WWE will make another Stephanie Vicor like signing. So this means swooping in to sign an international female talent that's been featured on AEW programming. That didn't happen. However, they did buy an entire Lucha promotion. So points.
Yeah, they kind of just did the whole yeah. But I mean, and this is the thing. This prediction obviously came about shortly after we saw Julia and Stephanie go over right away. We kind of thought that Persephone was going to be on their way out the door once she popped up. So we
Bozilla
had,
was another name that people were talking about.
yep, Bozilla,
Um,
yep.
Utami, Mayu.
Yeah. So I think that I can understand why you made that prediction. And frankly, I want to give you credit for the internet for the AAA thing, because yeah, they just
They just bought the
kind of
entire
did it.
thing. They bought the
Yeah.
entire boat. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was something that was featured on AEW programming a few years ago, but it was. I don't think that I deserve the points for it, but I think there's something of an essence there that happened. I think this third one, no essence. AEW will sign someone of the Sting or Bryan Danielson level for a retirement run. That didn't happen. We did have a retirement in AEW this year, but we didn't have any retirement runs or anything. So, eh. Your mic's off. I don't know if you muted it purposefully.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I did mute it.
Okay.
Sorry, it was because I was moving the laptop. Well, I was gonna ask, did you have someone in mind specifically when you made that prediction?
I thought that by this point, AJ Styles might or Kevin Owens might be in AEW.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand why you would think that.
Yeah.
I mean, or even like, I know we keep going back about Sami Zayn, but I think we're kind of done with Sami Zayn at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I think that like it'll be interesting for coming up here where we have folks like Jericho probably signing with WWE soon and probably going for a retirement run. We have AJ Styles declaring that he'll be on a retirement run this year.
Is this a situation now where WWE is just going to constantly have someone on a retirement run because it's a new it's their new thing that they can kind of market?
I think that for nostalgia culture, it is a genius idea to constantly have someone retiring.
I mean, you think, and I'm not just talking with WWE, because obviously we saw the way Muda did his reign,
Yep.
his retirement, where every little stop was
everyone was billed as the retirement match.
Because and it's like, yeah, and it's like, this is his last singles match, this is his last multi-man, this is his last time wearing green pants. It's like it was every little thing. And I think they kind of did that a little bit with John Cena.
Yeah,
where they were kind of like, this is his last Raw, this is the last time in this town. And I understand the idea of doing that. They kind of did with Tanahashi.
Tanahashi did it too, and the weird thing with the Tanahashi one was that they had Windy City Riot as being specifically his last U.S. appearance, and then they did the AEW appearance. But it was in London.
Yeah,
doesn't count. I don't remember if I don't think he went to Mexico this year. That's the one he left open.
Well, the Windy City one, you could say, was his last match
in North America.
Right, that's what I mean. So even if he did pop up in AEW, because he's going to pop up. I mean, he's the president of New
but the Forbidden Door appearance was his last with AEW.
Yeah. But I'm saying he'll do that again before you. I mean, even after he retires, because he's still going to be the president of the company.
Oh yeah, he'll show up, but he won't wrestle.
Yeah,
in theory. You know what's fun? I got to see his last AEW match.
Well, I got to see his last
US
match.
Yeah. Yours was probably, I don't know if it was better than the one I saw. The Takeshita match versus the War Dogs steel cage match.
There was fine. I mean, it was the best match on that show was Gabe Kidd versus Ishii. But
yeah.
But that's another story.
So I think that I was wrong with that one, but I think that the retirement economy is hot.
Yeah. No, it is.
And so let's look at the community ones. This one is probably the most wrong of any prediction. This next one. TNA will be dead by the end of 2025.
It's a rolling a 1 with a 20-sided die on that one. I mean, now they're going to be dead. Now, after everything they've gone through, now they're going to be dead.
Although, interestingly enough, of course, their TV rights still seems to be a revenue share deal with AMC. and
for
that's
now.
and that's why they don't. That's why they're like signing people to short-term contracts.
Because they're basically hoping to do what AEW did, and that's like start with that revenue deal, show that they can actually you know
Bring the
build some
money in.
ratings,
Yeah.
and then like a couple months later sign a real deal.
Yeah. But yeah, the number two here is AEW will lose a high potential young talent to NXT. That happened.
Yeah, that did.
Yeah,
They lost Mariah May.
to specifically NXT even. So like knocked it out of the park with that one.
Yeah, and I think
I've
she
not.
was one that we kind of thought might happen.
We did, and like it's been described recently. I think Meltzer I was listening to said that literally when she came into AEW, they presented her with an idea of an 18-month program, and like it was all scripted out essentially from day one.
Well, and not only that, I remember when she was leaving Stardom, we talked about it. I think me and you talked about it at the time. We said that like it's like a 50-50 on if she goes to WWE or AEW.
Yeah,
And it's like that was the first time we saw someone really we knew was leaving and we didn't know we had no clue which one they were going to go to.
yeah.
And then so it's not it tracks with her for sure. Yeah, so they hit that one out of the park.
Yeah, and then the final one was 2025 will be a quiet year for free agency. Well, unless you're a big fan of Jeff Cobb,
Who?
Tala Tonga. You remember that guy, the tallest of the Tongans? I got
Yeah,
to see both of them. So I went this past week on. So usually the WWE Holiday Tour, the Boxing Day show on the 26th is usually at MSG. You know, every year they do MSG, right?
yeah.
This year they're not doing MSG because they did the Cena retirement. Like, well, they didn't do the retirement show. They did the last Cena show at MSG, where he won the IC. They did that at MSG like a month or so ago, and then they're doing Barclays next month or like in 2 weeks or something like that. So they're not doing MSG for the holiday tour. Instead, what they did with their 26th show was that they did the show in Baltimore. So I went to the show because a friend wanted to go, and like if there's any way to experience a WWE show, it is one without any commercials or advertisement on the mats. So it was a fun experience, but the thing that was funny to me was that there were people that legitimately did not know the names of any of the people from Solo Sikoa's faction. They knew, well, one of them's Tamatonga and one of them's Tonga Loa,
You feel you know what?
and they didn't know which one was which, and they didn't know there were people that knew his name was Hikaleo but didn't know what his WWE name. Same thing with Jeff Cobb. They knew he was Jeff Cobb, but they didn't know his WWE name. It was wild.
It's really sad what's happened to the people who just get let me step back. Looking at Solo Sikoa, sometimes WWE just latches onto somebody and they're like, we're going to run with this guy no matter what. And when they do that, I understand because they see it perhaps it's someone that they want to invest in, they want to invest time, and that probably builds up some loyalty with the talent because it's like, hey, you stuck with me. I'm sure Roman probably feels a bit of that because the amount of
Oh yeah.
the amount of crap that he had to go through for a decade before he really caught on. It's like I'm sure he feels really grateful to WWE for that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're probably trying to replicate that with Solo Sikoa. And they also have I'm sure some hubris to it in the sense that they feel like we can make anyone a WWE top superstar.
Yeah.
It's like whoever we want. There's nobody we can do it. I think they just probably want to push that.
Yeah, sometimes they don't want to let they don't usually like it when somebody gets over on their own. I don't think that I don't think that they're like going after Jacob Fatu negatively over it, but like, he got over because he's Jacob F and Fatu. Like he's a really really good wrestler and he's fun to watch, and they don't push him nearly as high as he could be pushed. Braun Breaker is only now kind of getting to that point of being pushed towards the main event scene. Um, but yeah, with Solo Sikoa, it's interesting because now he's kind of doing like a comedy gimmick with his faction. Like they're not like it's essentially they're doing the Bloodline House of Torture template, but now he is like a like he thinks he's so smart and then he gets, one upped immediately in a comedic way kind of a thing. Which like it works. But like I think that it's a way to get the crowd back invested in him when they didn't like him as like a serious threat, you know? They were like,
Right.
"Oh, we don't buy you as a serious threat. Oh, you're going to be a comedy threat, and then now we're going to like you again, and then you're going to be a face for a little bit, and then you'll go back to heel." Like what they did with the Young Bucks, essentially. Like they got their comeuppance. They were comedy for a little bit with comeuppance heels, and then they went back to being faces.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of seeing that with Austin Theory a little bit as well. In the
Yeah,
sense that he's someone who they've run the gambit of comedy
yeah.
character to serious. Well,
Now he's back to
serious and then
serious.
back to
Yeah.
serious. Yep.
And
So we'll,
I don't think it's gonna work, but we'll see what happens. We'll let it play out.
yeah.
We'll let it play out for Triple H and his alleged co-booker. That definitely is not his co-booker. Don't tell
Yes.
anybody about that. It's only in Signal chat. So,
Signal. Wait, no, it's not Signal Chat. It's
Lignus.
Legnus. Yeah.
Lignus chat, yeah. So, how about we start off with the 2026 predictions by first getting how about we use the Nando's peri peri spiciness levels. So we're gonna go mild to tangy spicy. How about we
Yes.
get the mild take first from you?
Yeah. And this we just to clarify so everyone's aware. Uh, I do not know what Ryan's are, and he does not know what mine are. We both said we were going to come in here with three that kind of align up with those levels of likelihood. So I think we're going to start with the what was the first one?
Let's go with the mild one, the thing that you
The
think is
mild. Okay.
likely to happen.
So the mild one. So here's how I frame this one, and I think you'll see what I mean. We will see Nakamura coming out to his original theme song "Subconscious" at some point in 2026.
I think that is good. That's a good one.
Yes.
I think especially because they've given Gunther back his real theme, his orchestra theme. I think that's possible to happen. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. So that could. I mean, I don't know if that could happen in WWE. I don't know how the rights obviously work, but maybe it could happen in WWE. But
That's the question
obvious,
there. Yeah.
yeah. But obviously, if he isn't in WWE, if he ends up in New Japan or if he ends up in AEW, and even if he does end up in AEW, I think that Tony Khan will go back to Subconscious. I really do.
I think that is the wild card of what you just predicted is yeah, it's I love the predictions from people saying that he's going to get released on January 5th. Um
I mean, yeah. I
yeah,
mean, he might.
like his usage to WWE has been okay, so we're going to use you as a bargaining chip to try to ruin their relationship with New Japan, with AEW New Japan. That's really what it was this year. Like they didn't use him otherwise, really, until like now this late part of the year where it's obvious that it's not going to happen.
Yep.
So I think it's possible. Like I think that's why I on our free agency tracker, I think that it's getting higher odds of Shinsuke leaving WWE this coming year.
Yeah. I think. I mean, if there was going to be something done with him, I think it would have happened. Why would they do it now?
Yeah.
And
Uh,
and on top of that, why would they re-sign him unless he wants to sign? Because I don't think we're gonna see like an R-Truth move. R-Truth move where he finagles another year out of his contract by trying to get people behind him. I don't see him doing that. So
yeah.
I think he wants out. I believe he would want out.
I mean,
I
he did one out this
Yeah,
past summer.
and
So,
he's made his money.
yeah.
Like he's been in WWE now for essentially 10 years, which is wild to think about. because a lot of people, and it's funny to think about it, is this a successful run for him? I mean, a lot of people would say no. A lot of people would say yes. I mean, it's not incredible, but I mean, he won a Royal Rumble. He was, I think he won the
What?
world
Yeah, he
championship
was a
at
world
one point.
title holder. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like he's done okay, and maybe it's time for him to actually, see if he can do something memorable. Because that's the unfortunate thing is, even even if you want to call it a success, it's the running thing that everyone says is like his best match in that company was his first match.
Hmm.
And that was the match against Sami Zayn on an NXT takeover, and he hasn't had a better one since.
You want to hear my mild take?
I do.
My mild prediction? Okay, here it goes.
Okay.
A non-contracted star will win an AEW title in 2026.
That's a good one. I like that one. Now, AEW title, not a Ring of Honor title.
Yeah, AEW only.
Okay.
I should have added that, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna stick to my guns. AEW title.
Now, would this include someone who's like dual contracted?
Yeah.
Okay, so like Hechicero, for example, who has a dual contract,
Yeah.
because he has another contract, that's okay.
Yeah. Anybody that's like got like the CMLL logo or New Japan logo when they come out,
Well,
that's one of those guys.
well, well. Technically, what about okay? If Takeshita wins it, would that count?
Okay, that one doesn't count. Yeah, that wouldn't count. I'm
Okay.
saying specifically, essentially, like I'm saying somebody that's like in Japan or in Mexico most of the time.
Yeah. The spirit is someone who is not AEW primary.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody that's not
Okay.
AEW primary will win one of their titles. CC is asking, does this include the national title? Because that's like the gimmick of the belt. Is it the gimmick of the belt though, or was that just marketing?
Yeah, I feel like we said that about like 3 different AEW belts at this time. Remember the All Atlantic was supposed to be that?
Yeah, and then became the international, and then we were like, well, obviously it's gonna be that because it says international, and then
Yeah.
it appeared less on other programs than before.
Yeah, I remember when Pac like defended the All Atlantic on like indie shows for like 2 times, and people were
Yeah,
like, "Oh, this is great,"
they're
and
like,
then they never
yeah,
did it again.
yeah. So I'm saying essentially that it will be any belt that says AEW on it, that there will be at least one individual within the constellation of winning that belt. So it could be like a trios belt or something. It could be a women's tag. But one of those people will not be a primary AEW wrestler.
I think so.
I think the national is a hot one for that. I think the continental could happen. Um, maybe Yoda Suji beats Okada for the international title.
I mean, he might. I mean,
I mean, he might. I think that's what I. There are a lot of. I don't know if you saw Yoda Suji's comments in an interview recently about the AEW relationship.
I believe so. Yeah, where essentially he was saying like Takeshita is like a part timer who doesn't.
He
He's
said
like,
he said like that they should drop the partnership.
yeah,
And so many people are getting worked by that, where it's very obvious to me that that is a guy working it for a match that he has with a AEW contracted star. I mean, some people have mentioned that he was supposed to have a match with Swerve Strickland at one of the Forbidden Doors that didn't happen. But, you know, at the same time, dude is about to do a match where he's probably going to win and become New Japan's greatest defender, kind of a thing. So, like, yeah, it makes sense. Like,
yeah. And if I had to pick someone like from that crop of that class, what were they calling them? The
they were calling them the Rahe
something the
Musketeers. Yeah.
something Musketeers. Yeah, the new Musketeers, whatever that is. He's the one that obviously everyone kind of points to as the one who's like the breakout.
I think that he's the breakout. I think that they wanted it to be Shota Umino.
Yeah.
And they gave him a shot as singles thing. They pushed him a lot for it. Didn't work out as singles as much. I think that him and Yuya Uemura is working out as a tag.
I
Uh,
saw someone call him Shota Sakoa the other day, and I thought that's too mean. That's
no,
too
that's too
mean.
mean. I think that Oiwa has worked out better than they expected him to.
Hmm.
And I think that the light heavyweights that they have, like Vegeta, have turned out so much better than they expected them to too.
Yeah, they have a like I said, they have a nice little crop, and I think
Yeah.
it'll work. It'll work out.
But yeah, so that is my mild take. How about we get your tangy take, your mid-tier take, your 50-50 shot in the dark?
All right. My 50-50, the one that I think, it's reasonable that it could happen. But it's really also reasonable that it could not. And I'm going to say in 2026, Adam Cole will wrestle a match.
That is a hard one. Okay, so for people unaware, um, that the Chicago World's End, which somebody on this call attended,
I did.
it was him. It was Doug. I'm sorry for the people that were guessing.
Mhm.
So quick reveal. Doug attended World's End, and I believe one Adam Cole came out.
He did not come out, but he was on a video.
He was on a video.
Yes. And he did. And here's the thing. He mentioned something in passing, and I'll be honest, I couldn't hear it that well, but he did mention something about, seeing more of me in the future, something along those lines. But
Yeah.
it was part of like just a larger video, like a more generic AEW video. A lot of people are reading into that something, and some people said that they're reading too much into it. I don't know which one it is. So that's why I said that was more of a tangy take.
Yeah.
That he could wrestle a match, and maybe it is just one match or something, or just his final match, or maybe it's him testing the water to see he can get back into it.
Yeah.
And I think that now that MJF is the champ, it's not impossible that they might do something with that again.
Yeah. I think
So
that
we'll see.
I think it's possible that they bring him back for non-wrestler activities.
Yes. Well, he's already doing non-wrestler. He's AEW's
The AEW game
resident
stuff.
video. He's
Yeah,
is AEW's resident video game guy.
I mean, like on screen though,
Yeah.
like commentator, or like maybe he works as the manager for Paragon and gets Roddy to join finally conglomeration, something like that. Like there are ways that they can do interesting story things with him still, if even if you can't do a match. Like I feel like Danielson has had interesting story beats and integration into stories despite being a commentator only now.
Yes.
Um, so
I'm ready for your tangy take.
my tangy. Oh, wait. What kind of scenario? What kind of match do you think it would be? This isn't going to hold against you. This is not going to hold it against you. But
I think it could be. That's what I mean. I think even if it's something kind of smoke and mirrors to kind of protect him or hide him, even if it's like kind of what they've done with
Sting
like, or Jay Leno even.
Well, I went the most nice way of going about it, and you were like, yeah, like Jay Leno. You remember him from the 90s?
Karl Malone and Dennis Rodman.
Hey, those guys skipped practice.
They did.
Yeah. In the finals. Okay, so my tanky take. 50-50 ball. It's AJ Styles will have a match in not WWE.
Okay.
Any promotion that's not WWE. You'll have one
I can see that.
match.
I think that's a good one. And on top of that, I think it's also a safe, like tangy one, and not like you're not going too far, because you're not saying he's gonna like sign a contract.
Exactly. Yep. I'm not saying he's gonna sign a contract somewhere else. I'm just saying he's gonna do a match somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I'm for that purpose. Yeah, TNA obviously is the big dog.
That's the one you would kind of think.
You would think, but it is possible that AAA could happen.
It might.
Because I think I think that you could have him and Dragon Lee do a tag match in Mexico. Technically, I mean, it is WWE, but is it WWE?
I
uh,
think that's a reasonable one for sure.
that's an interesting thing I want to point out about the AAA thing with WWE is that I think that I don't think it's a hot take to say that they benefited more from the relationship with WWE than TNA did. But I mean about the quality of product. I think that AAA has become less authentic, but a better product.
I mean, I'll say this: I don't know that we have a good feel for like what impact that has had in Mexico on
Yeah,
AAA's reputation,
yeah,
but the fact that CMLL has seen a massive explosion in popularity maybe gives me a
yes,
hint in that direction.
yeah. They're like they're hugging the flag and everything for CMLL.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think that's a possibility. Or it's possible. What if he doesn't get the offer of a retirement program that he wants from WWE, and his contract is supposed to expire in February that he has currently on the books? I don't think that right now, as it stands, right now, where he's sitting creatively in WWE, I can't see a way for them to have him do a retirement match in 2 months. Like 2 months
No,
from now, I don't see it happening.
no, I think they would. Let's say he does want to retire within the next year. If they want to give him the Cena treatment, I could see that because I don't think Jericho is necessarily ready to retire like this year.
Oh yeah, no, no, no. Jericho's a 3-year project, maybe a 2-year project.
Yeah. So it could be a thing where like they hire Jericho with the idea, hey, when AJ's done, we'll do the same thing with you.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's possible that because like the nature of the length of the contract for AJ Styles that's supposed to expire essentially just over a month from now.
Hmm.
We're gonna have the Royal Rumble, and then who knows what from there. Like it's possible that like he won't have. Yeah, they did tease a Gunther match. Yeah, and that's. I think that they're trying to. The TC said in the comments. I think that that's their ace in the hole right now of like the guy that's gonna retire everybody. Which I mean, like if you already have established Gunther as retiring, like Goldberg, that was the right direction to go. Was like
Hmm.
okay, let's just make. If you're invested in Gunther, we gotta make him a mega heel and have him retire all these people. Funny thing that happened during the house show I was at, where he had a match with Javon Evans. He did the 5 moves of doom. He did like the "you can't see me" and stuff. So he's like, at least on the house show circuit, he's playing up the fact that he's retired Cena, and maybe he'll integrate uh, parts of the routines of the other people that he's retired in a "I'm a ring general and these people suck" kind of way. Um, but yeah, I think that it's possible that AJ doesn't retire in WWE, but I want to keep my options open. That's why I only said he will have a match not in WWE.
I think that's fair. All right. So now I think it's time to get spicy.
Spicy with the predictions. Yes, yes.
All
So
right.
I think that this is in the spirit of some of the. I think, like last year we had the TNA will die. I think that was pretty spicy. Um, I think that was the spiciest one we had.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely feel that they need to be ones that are reasonable.
Yeah.
Like it could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that, but it's also going to be something where if you told it to someone, they'd be like, I don't know about that. I don't see how that would happen.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. So I think that mine is in that spirit. So I'm
yeah.
going to go ahead and go through mine.
Bring it on.
So my spicy take, my spicy prediction of 2026 is that Kyle Fletcher will be AEW champ before Will Ospreay, and Fletcher will win it in 2026.
The world championship,
The World Championship,
the men's world
the
championship.
AEW Men's World Heavyweight
Oh,
Championship.
okay, okay. You think that Fletcher will win it before Osprey,
Yes,
and it will happen in 2026?
yes.
That one is spicy.
Hmm.
I don't know if Fletcher's gonna win it next year.
Because here's my thing. a lot of people are a lot of people are already assuming that okay, All In is going to be MJF versus Osprey.
I think
Like
it.
people
Yeah. I think that it will be Osprey at the very least.
people have that penciled in.
Yeah.
Now, I don't I don't necessarily know that Osprey is going to be ready by then.
Hmm.
Because the issue is, sure, could he maybe be ready to have a match by All In? He might.
Yeah.
Is he going to be ready to have a match? Is he going to be ready to win the Owen tournament so
Yeah.
he
If
can
they
get that?
keep that gimmick, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that. So maybe it's a thing where he re-debuts at All In,
Oh.
and then they go from there. And I could see that happening. And to me, I just think that Fletcher winning first is a more interesting story because he can then kind of hold that over Osprey, like I beat you first. And let's be honest, Osprey would probably love to have that idea.
Yeah.
He'd love to do that. Osprey loves losing.
Slows. He's
So
the Brian Danielson of the new generation.
yeah. Now, realistically, let's be honest here. I know that that's probably a bit of a long shot, and that's why I said it's a spicy take, though. And that's why
You
I'm
know,
throwing it out there,
you know
though.
what's the spiciest combination of match that I've seen thrown out there as the possible all-in men's world title match
What?
is Will Ospreay challenging against champion Kenny Omega.
You know what? I was gonna actually throw this out as a spicy take or my spicy prediction, and that's that. But I felt like I didn't want to do it because I felt like it's not necessarily one that I could prove in 2026. But I was gonna say it's like Kenny Omega is as a singles worker is basically done,
Hmm.
and that he is now just gonna be a part. He's basically Sting.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, but we have Emney in the comments asking, is TNA still alive though? Yeah, for now.
I mean, they're on WWE life support,
Well,
and but
they're on AMC's ad
yeah,
live support soon
yes,
enough. Because yeah,
the AMC ECMO machine, just pumping in that blood and oxygen into the system. But that might be enough to restart it. You never. Which, by the way, the pit comes back in 3 weeks, so get ready for your ER jokes.
um, how about we go? I tried to watch the pit for the first time on a plane, and the first thing that happened on it was something that I should not have had showing on an aisle seat in a plane. So I have to watch that again.
I don't even remember what.
they 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 have to do like a quick there's nudity. That's all I'll say.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
yeah,
It's medical
yeah. It's
nudity.
medical nudity, but yeah, I was like, oh, I gotta turn this off. Guess I'm
Yeah.
not gonna watch this for the plane flight. But my spicy boy. Here's a spicy one. Okay,
Okay.
WWE purchases a European indie promotion.
Okay.
So not partnership,
Straight up buys them.
buys one.
Well, that would make a lot of sense, especially since there is the uh that rumored another promotion that's going to be trying to start up in the UK again.
Yeah, there's rumors that there's a promotion that like is trying to get a TV deal out of nothingness, but their roster is not anything really either.
Yeah.
Um, it's who is it? Who is it that is affiliated with it? Was it wasn't Pete Dunne? Was it Trent Seven? Yeah, it's Trent Seven. That's it. Um,
Well, and here's the thing, and it also makes sense because we see that WWE has already
well,
trying to copy and make alliances in the same way that AEW did, but now that we saw what they did with AAA,
yeah,
um,
that's
they
exactly
may
what I'm thinking about. Yeah.
they may be like, well, why don't we just do it this way?
Yeah, so
And it,
instead of doing Europe, why not just buy WXW?
yeah,
Why not just buy Over the Top?
or yeah, Southside or
Well,
somebody
Southside's
else.
gone already.
Yeah, well, they could buy it. Someone owns it.
Yeah. So
That's a spicy one too.
yeah,
And I think
I think that they're like MO right now is buying promotions and acting like that they're still separate.
yeah. And the reason why I might also say it's spicy and not like, tangy is because I don't know that they in this because this would be where I would push back and play a little devil's advocate. It's like I don't know that the UK scene is that is there a need to push into that way?
Yes, there is, because what is happening this year in the UK? Two big things, right? Three big things. There are three shows already on the calendar that are pretty big shows in the UK. Got All In, obviously, right?
All in, yes.
Which All In probably will, if what's happening with the UK viewership numbers is real, and how the sales for the O2 went last year for Forbidden Door went, it'll probably do better sales than 2024 did at Wembley, which was around 50K.
Right.
I don't know if they're going to do 80K. That's a lot, again, but I could see them going past 50K, right?
I think so. That's fair.
That's the big competition, but the small competition is the other promotions. Rev Pro is doing Wembley Arena the day before. And Rev Pro has a, alliance with AEW, obviously. They work with ROH technically, but they've had their titles on AEW programming many times.
And it's become a bit of a tradition to have those anniversary shows all in weekend.
Yes, they've now slotted their. It's now like a tradition that the day before is Rev Pro, the day after is Progress, and then all the other indies take their slots otherwise, wherever the chips fall. And then Eve is doing their show at the Indigo Theater at the O2 in March. It is the biggest show of any indie outside of Rev Pro or Progress, I think, ever in the UK, and it's an all women's promotion. So I think that there is enough momentum right now in the UK, generally in wrestling, that WWE might look at it and be like, "Hey, wait a second, we got to make sure that we have our interests in line here." And this year, the way to do that, because you can't really screw over AEW by, booking something against them when they're at Wembley, is to maybe try to buy another promotion, and maybe then you use them to run a show counter.
I can see that. I can
Maybe,
definitely see that.
maybe you buy a WXW, and you're gonna be like, oh yeah, it's their first show in London, and it's gonna be on the same date and time as the Rev Pro show at Wembley Arena. It's gonna be at the Crystal Palace, or it's gonna be at the arena at the old Olympic Stadium, something like that. You don't directly attack AW because you're not gonna be able to do it on the day you'll run a show in the US, but you do your first inroad with that.
Although, we'll say this. Since they've been with ESPN,
Yeah,
WWE, and did that WrestlePalooza thing, which we still have not really got numbers for, by the way.
the biggest event ever. Their next WrestleMania. Yep.
Yeah. And since then, I did notice that WWE is not necessarily out here counter programming AEW as much.
No.
So it could be a thing where, like,
Well,
after that WrestlePalooza thing happened, ESPN said, "You're
Yeah,
not doing
they
this
did.
again."
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, I believe that was reported even that they were upset that they were being used in such a way and told WWE to not do it again.
Yeah, well, I didn't see that report, but I mean, I'm definitely it makes sense because
Yeah.
I mean, it's very unlike them to just stop.
Yeah.
Like they didn't put an NXT show against. They didn't do anything against it.
Nope.
Unless maybe they just on their own just realize, hey, this doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. It just makes us look. It just makes us look bad.
Well, how about I give you two predictions from our lovely crew.
Okay, I'm gonna make fun of them.
Okay, I won't say who it is then. You have one here that says in 2026 we'll get the another WWE to AEW to WWE jump that is not Jericho.
Another WWE to AEW to WWE.
Yeah, so
Okay.
somebody that's a former WWE wrestler currently in AEW, they will go back to WWE this year.
That's not Jericho.
That's not Jericho. How would you
How many
grade
like
this?
I'm trying to think like who would that even be? Like who are the options?
Yeah, I'm looking at our tracker here. Um, and I see a grand total of nobody except for Jericho that fits that description, our tracker. So I'm
Yeah,
not
I think
I'm not sure
unless
who it would be.
unless it's like we're talking like a
Could it be
like a
Saraya?
like a I mean it could be Soraya, I
Saraya is the option.
suppose.
Yeah, Saraya's on there still.
Yeah. I mean I get unless it could be someone would it be someone like backstage? Would that count?
Maybe, I guess. But
Like
I
if
think
Jeff
Saraya
Jarrett
I think
went back?
Jeff Jarrett or Saraya are the hot options there.
Hmm.
I think Saraya
Chris Hero.
I think Saraya could happen.
Yeah. That's a likely one. I
I
think I
think
could see that.
I think that she showing up at the Royal Rumble at the very least
Well, didn't she show up at some indie promotion
with
and
her
came
old
out
music. Yeah.
with her old or WWE music?
Yep. Yeah. So I think that that's possible.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good one. I like that one.
Sam Irvin is not showing up in AEW yet, so that one can't happen. Samantha. Irvin.
Yeah, and then she'd have to go back to WWE.
And then
for
she'd
that
have to go
work.
back to WWE. What about Renee? Yeah, is Renee gonna go back?
Probably not.
Probably not. And then the other
Do you think Renee Young is making more money in AEW than she was in WWE?
100%.
Yeah, I agree too.
Easily. Even if she wasn't, the fact that she's getting to work with her husband,
Yeah.
and they seem to like each other. Um, and the other one is that a WWE lifer will go to AEW. I think that that one is a mild. I think that's mild.
I mean, are we thinking AJ?
I'm thinking AJ or Bailey.
Yeah, Bailey. Oh yeah, because Bailey though we once again I have no idea what's dealing with her contract because she's had all this injury time.
Yeah.
So I don't know when she's up, but yeah, she feels like one that's likely going to end up there. I mean,
Yeah.
what they're not really using her effectively in WWE. I
Yeah.
think she's kind of physically, I don't want to say shot, but she's had a lot of injuries. And
I think that something that I've noticed while watching these WWE matches that I've been watching recently is that like the style in WWE is so much more restrained that you don't necessarily know how far someone
mhm.
so I think it's possible that maybe she wants to go harder and they're not letting her go harder. Or it's possible that maybe she can't go hard anymore.
Or the alternative, the other option, and I don't know when her deal is up.
Uh-oh.
Mercedes is the WWE to AEW to
Oh,
WWE.
she's the return. Man. Well, I mean, she started in AEW 2 years ago.
She's got about 2 years, so
Yeah.
at least she's at least got another year.
She's got another. She's in 2027 at the earliest.
That would take her into 2027,
and I think that she's become possibly an AEW lifer over the course of the last year, definitely.
I mean, I think her because I know there was a lot of concern over how well she would do in AEW or just outside the WWE system in general, especially with her debut at that one Wrestle Kingdom where she kind of botched her finisher
Yeah.
and it just kind of came off a little weird.
You mean Kyrie botched it?
Yeah, Kyrie. Yeah, they're really great match with Kyrie. I'll give her that.
Yeah.
But I think since then though, I think her run has gone about as well as it could have.
Oh yeah.
Like this is like, whatever your expectations were for it being, an absolute home run, you have to say it hit that.
I think that's something that's interesting with the run is especially when you. It's an interesting thing to compare vis-a-vis John Moxley right now, which is
Okay.
that with John Moxley, there's been a popular fantasy booking amongst fans that any day now the Death Riders are going to turn on him, right? And
I mean,
that's
yeah, I think that's happening.
but that's been the thought since July, right? Every single story beat with John Moxley, the thought from the fans has been, this is going to be the moment, right? This is going to be it, right? And every time, it doesn't happen. And what's resulted, I think, has been far more intriguing of a storyline for John Moxley than if the Death Riders had turned on him before now. So let's compare that to Mercedes Moné. We could have had her as a world champion by now, right?
Yes.
There was many paths to get her the world title by now. They didn't do that. They didn't do that twice this year.
Yeah. In
I
fact, they've basically the only time that she loses singles matches is when she's going for that world title.
Yep, or she overextends herself with trying to go for like tag gold or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it's when she overextends herself beyond and going up to the world title that she is proven to not have it for that purpose. And she's put over then, thusly, Tony Storm, and now Chris Statlander through such means, and possibly Willow coming up here. I think that that could be a shock finish coming up for the Dynamite coming up tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, and is it for the TBS title
It's for the
tomorrow?
TBS title tomorrow, yeah.
I think that's very possible. I mean, I'm not saying because I know everyone's been also with her similar to everyone's waiting on John Moxley for the turn. I think a lot of people are just waiting on Mercedes to go on this giant losing streak where she just loses all these belts.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily know it or think it's going to work out that way exactly.
Yeah.
But I do think her eventually losing like so much and hitting rock bottom and then finally coming back and getting that world title
Yeah.
is a really, really great story for her. And based off of how slow AW books things out, and also just the fact that how long I think to tell that story and make a baby face turn for Mercedes, I think you're gonna need more than a year that she has left on her contract. So hope
I think it's possible that she goes back to back Owen and then wins it all in on this time.
possible. Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that those are our hot takes. Excuse me, not the hot takes, our predictions for the year. The prediction that we had there was that we will see a WWE lifer go to AEW, and yeah, I think that that's possible. I think that I would call tangy because this year, how this year went with such.
Yeah. I think that's a fair measure.
So how about we look at the tracker, which has been it's been derelict for a second.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of updates just come through the wire here at the end of the month, at the end of the year. This is what the tracker looks like as of Boxing Day here. I'll read it off, and you can do some reactions if you have any, Doug, for every tier.
I think that's all. I don't think we need to go too crazy, but I think reacting to everything is going to be good. So let's do that.
Yeah, certain we have Adam Priest and Lacey Lane.
Yeah, that should be happening soon. I think we might be moving some more people into that. I think Jericho might be going there soon.
Yeah, Jericho is in likely with Zeta Steel. I think Jericho definitely is going to go up to certain the next time we look at this.
Zeta Steel, we'll wait. Well, I'm sure we'll hear more about her in the coming weeks too.
Probable we have The Rock's favorite wrestler, Danhausen, Michael Oku, and El Hijo del Sting himself, Stephen Borden Jr. Have you been hearing about him?
Yeah, and he's single-handedly bringing back Dark.
Yeah, he had a dark match recently on AEW, a true dark match on AEW programming with him and another trainee for Darby Allin.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying both of them out, seeing how it goes. Toss up, we have the British wrestler Rio, Britt Baker, Private Party, Isla Dawn, Bushi and Naito, and Dakota Kai. Oh yeah, Bushi is now on the tracker with Naito. You've heard about what's going on with them?
Well, I know that I've known for okay. You know, I'll say this: going back a year, I've known that they have been like talking contracts with people,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that for a fact that they weren't necessarily like never gonna go to any other promotion, but I mean, I'm not surprised to hear that they're back back in the loop. Um, Refresh my memory because I know that there was talk of going back to New Japan.
Yeah.
There was talk of Noah,
Yeah.
and so what's the most recent one you're alluding to?
Yeah, so to give more context on that, yeah, Naito was talked about as a possible Tanahashi retirement opponent when they couldn't get Nakamura. Um, it didn't work out with him being the guy because they went with Okada instead. I think Okada was the second choice anyway, or it might have been the first choice for that matter too. It's complicated. But with Naito, Bushi appeared in Noah a week or two ago. And it was announced that he was going to have a tag match in Noah at the New Year's show for Noah. So that's tomorrow. And he will have a mystery opponent that will be revealed at the show. And the vacant figure for him, it's Naito. So the question mark for me here is I think it's over the toss-up line, but the question mark is, of course, are they just appearing for Noah or are they going to stay in Noah?
Well, I think that at this point in time, he has more to do in Noah than he does in New Japan, and I don't know that he necessarily would do. What is he going to do in New Japan?
I retire.
Yeah. So he could go. He wants to be an old man with Kenta and Marufuji. I
Yeah.
think that he should go do that.
Yeah, I think that he has more in the tank. It's essentially the TNA of Japan. He has more in the tank there than he does staying in New Japan.
I think it's the right move. That's what I would do if I was him.
In Possible, we have Man Like Derice, we have the Rascals, including Desmond Xavier, Ninja Mac, Mike Santana, and newly added to the tracker is the Knockout Bros, and we brought Sari down to Possible. I think her winning the match against Natsupoi, it leaves her in the toss-up Possible realm.
Whoa, spoilers.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
But I think that that's a bold booking move for somebody that you're not keeping in your promotion, right? Like you don't think it's going to show up again. But the Knockout Bros, they're the new addition. They have had an offer levied to them by WWE. Do you think that they leave?
Yeah, I do.
Oh yeah.
I think I think that I could see them going. I mean, I don't have any other reason. I kind of have a gut that I could see them kind of making that jump.
Yeah. But then you'd have to figure out, because it's WWE, which one of them's the talker? Or in NXT. That's where they put them. They're gonna make Oscar into the new Undertaker.
I mean, I think they're gonna love Oscar.
They'll love Oscar. They'll keep. I would say they would keep Yuto Ice's gimmick exactly as is. Which, for people that aren't aware, it's like he's doing like kind of like a rapper Jamaican gimmick thing.
I mean, they kind of it would work.
It would work in NXT. It would work in Orlando.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's like this is what happens when a Japanese rapper teams up with if Geddy Lee was the Undertaker.
Although the counter to this
Oh, okay.
is that how long have we been saying, you know, David Finley's going to be leaving any day now?
I know. And although, like, that's somebody that we didn't pick up for this voting session was David Finley. And I think that I think that it's unrelated. Oh yeah, Kieran Gray. I'm sorry, I'm Nate. Kieran Gray is the one that we were talking about with Stephen Borden, the other Darby Allin trainee. I think that we have to look at the War Dogs as a faction separate, like the classic War Dogs, separate from the Knockout Bros of what could be happening for their movements. I've been saying for a while that I think anybody that is a Westerner in New Japan is possible to be leaving New Japan, because of pay.
Right. Well, and here's the thing. I feel like I hate doing the New Japan who's leaving thing in
every year in January. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because we do it every year.
Did you see Sean Ross Sapp's thing about this?
No, I didn't.
He is vehement. Okay, so every single one of these articles about New Japan, it starts off with, "It's that time of the year again. We got another contract up in New Japan. It's just that time of the year." And then at the end of the article, he says, "For the people asking, this happens every year, doesn't it? Aren't all contracts up in January? Excuse me, not all of them are." But then he starts every single one of these articles the same goddamn way, which is, "It's that time of the year." So he's like, he's not proving anything wrong. He's just acting like it so that he can get internet points. I'm sorry, Sean. Gotta lock that up. You gotta lock that up.
And I'm sorry, I'm not, and I refuse to.
Yeah, let's be above board.
I refuse to talk about David Finley in January anymore.
Yeah. That's just the nature of it. It's like any of the guys that's the War Dogs guys in January, I will put them in remote on our tracker. Yeah. I will give them the honor of being on the tracker because technically they are all notable people.
If the new beginning tour cards come out and he's not on there, then I will talk.
Yeah, then we'll talk. But and just for the record, in Unlikely we have Clark Connors and Gabe Kidd is in remote right now. I think that those two were people that we've been thinking about for a while as possibilities, but newly added as the January cycle are talking about Dave Finley and Drilla Maloney. I think that, like, if we're looking at Knockout Bros separately from the rest of War Dogs, I think that it's possible that they could leave if they like the money, but I also see them as the kind of guys that, I mean, they only just started on, like, not being young lions on the New Japan roster, and they put the machine behind them to get the heavyweight title so quickly that, like, I think that there could be some loyalty. Oh yeah, Yoda Ice got his match with Tanahashi too, like they did a nice story with that. Like, I think it's possible that they go, but I think it's more likely than not that they stay. With the War Dogs guys, of course, again, like you just said, January, we don't want to get into it, but I think they could be a package deal. I think so. So Unlikely, we have Bailey, Priscilla Kelly, Shayna Baszler, and Clark Connors, as mentioned before. And then in remote, we have Leon Slater, Saraya, The Miz, Maki Ito, Dragon Lee, AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, Gabe Kidd, Anna Jay, Bozilla, Jake Something from TNA, and Miyu Yamashita. Jake Something, interesting because he is one of the ones that is vehement that he has not signed one of these short-term contracts with TNA. Mm-hmm. So we'll see about that one. I don't know where necessarily he would go, but he's got the look that he could end up in WWE, I think, if they were going to have an eye on somebody.
But he's also one where I'm like, if they were going to grab him, why is it taking so long? Because I feel like he's been that guy for like a decade.
Yeah. So we'll see where it goes with that. But that is all of the free agency tracker for this week here on WrestleWatch. Was there anything else that you wanted to cover this week, Doug?
I think we covered it all. I think that was a good catch-up session. A little bit longer because it needed to be. It
needed to be. Well, next time that we do the podcast, I think that we'll look at the tracker as it stood last year at this time, and we'll see where people ended up. We might make some bold predictions of where we think some certain individuals might end up that are currently on the tracker by this time next year. Um, we're having some fun with it. At any rate, this has been WrestleWatch. I hope everybody has enjoyed the broadcast.